Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we are back with this quad and it's almost ready to get this thing fired up. Man, I'm just excited about that. But before getting it fired up, I need to do a lot of stuff to this frame, like welding of this frame isn't done perfectly, so I need to weld up the entire frame. And yes guys, before welding up, I have bought the sprocket. It is for 530 chain, and the chain which is over here is for like 520. So I need to take some metal of this sprocket to get this thing to work over here, and even get the bolt size perfect to fit this thing. So enough of talking, let's just get this thing to fit over there. It fits out perfect, man. I'm pretty pleased with how this project turned out. It turned out awesome, and this thing is mounted, and even I have braced up the spacer over there. It also turned out perfect. So the next step is to get this chain installed, and to get this chain installed, I have got a problem. So here, like the rear down, the mount of the engine, the bottom mount of the engine, I have installed a pipe over here which is coming in the way of the chain, and even this part of the frame is also coming. The chain is hitting and it's way too in. I have to make it a little bit outer so that the chain could go easily. So I have to redesign the bottom mount of the engine and also this part of the chassis as well. The top mount of the engine, I have replaced it because it was way too long and I need to even brace it up, and also instead of doing that I just used the pipe over here and even made it small so that it will be strong enough. Still I have a doubt on when I squeeze this chain together, the engine is coming back, or this swing arm point is going a little bit further ahead. I don't know. Because of that I have changed the top mount, and even I have got out maybe I'm going to change the bottom mount as well from this pipe, because this is the pipe which acts as a main pipe which is keeping the swing arm and even stopping the engine to move back. So this is going to act as a main pipe. So that's what the thing is. I have supported it from this pipe, and even I'm going to change up the bottom pipe, the bottom mount also, and by installing a pipe and making it smaller type so that it will be strong enough. And we'll see afterwards even this thing continues or not. So guys, we can continue with the fuel tank, and this is the idea which is coming in my mind about the fuel tank, which I'm placing right underneath the seat. It's going to come like this over here. And yes guys, I am going to increase the length of this thing. Right now it's I don't know the size exactly, it's about 30 centimeter long, but I'm going to make it 2 inches, little bit more wider, so 2 inches, which will give me an extra liter. So yes, I do need as much fuel as much I could, because this is a giant engine with 4 carburetors, so it needs fuel. That's what the thing is. And hopefully it turns out great. Yes guys, finally made the threads of the filler cap. It took me whole day to get this thing done, just this thing, because my lathe wasn't perfect. I have to get the lathe repaired, so off camera I did, repaired it up, and even after ruining 3 pieces, I have made it on the 4th piece. Finally I had made it. So here it turned out. So next step is to get this thing mounted over here. Let's just make them whole and try to fit this thing right in the center, because it's going to be underneath the seat, so I need it to be at the center. That's what the thing is. Here is the petrol tank, and it turned out perfect. I have made a plate to get the fuel gauge for me, and also made a plate to get this thing set it over here, which is perfect. But now I need to adjust this, because it was for a bigger tank, higher tank, and it's almost the top part is almost at the full point, so I don't want it to be, I need it to be at least at the half tank. So I need to remodify this pipe, cut it out and make it smaller. So let's just cut it out and make it smaller so that it will fit over here. Slightly made a group over here so that that will just hold in a lock or sort of thing, because it was there in a previous pipe, so I just made it the same. But I don't want it to be too deep as this is, just because I don't want it to snap into half. That's what the thing is. So you can see the groove over here. It is company made and this is homemade, so it's not going to be exactly perfect like this thing. Yes guys, the tank is completely ready and it turned out pretty awesome. I installed the gauge right over here. There is going to be fuel gauge on this tank. For that it's installed, and even the drain plug, yes, it is facing the opposite way, just because I want to keep this opening and closing outside, otherwise it's going to go inside. That's what I have installed it opposite way. If not, means I can just switch it. It's up to me. It's not that necessary and all. So yes guys, I am pretty pleased with it. I have checked for the leaking. There wasn't any leak at all, man. I don't believe in myself that for the first time I got a tank without any sort of leakings and all. First weld, that's what. I have welded like twice it. Just once I have welded, grinded up and even looked for any small holes and all. So I just re-welded, and after that I checked the pressure and it was very good. And the capacity of this tank is about 7.5 liters. So it is great. It's great. 7.5 liter is pretty good. I could go with more with that, but it's going to make like I have to go with the designs and all. So more welding, more bending, more anything sort of things. That's what I think. 7 liter is enough. That's it. 7.5 liter is enough for me. And after getting the designs also, I could increase just about a liter. So a liter does not matter at all. That's it. So let's just find out a way to get this thing installed over here. And I want it to be installed right over here. Yes guys, this is the mount which I have made for the petrol tank, and yes, I have used super glue to hold it at its place so that I could just later on weld this thing. But for now I can weld on the petrol tank. So yes guys, it is turning out pretty awesome. And while opening up the super glue, you can see all the white marking on my hand. It just launched up, man. Okay, let's just continue and weld this thing up so that I could just weld this later. The reason to cool it down is because there is a rubber bush inside, so I don't want that thing to be damaged. That's what I'm using water, otherwise I don't have to use the water. Here is the petrol tank, which is just perfectly mounted to here, and it turned out pretty solid right now. It's rubber mounted all the way. It's rubber mounted. It's not hard mounted at any point. I just robbed the parts which I use for over here from the petrol tank of this bike and used it over here. It turned out pretty solid and it is way better right now. So the next step, what I'm thinking is to get the brake mounted for the rear wheel. And yes, again I have robbed the bike and took it out. I don't think so this bike is going to have anything remaining in this thing right now. So yes guys, I have took it out. So I'm thinking to get this thing mounted right over here. It is kind of tricky to get this thing mounted right over here, but yes, even the lever, the brake lever had turned out perfect. Let's just figure out a way to get this thing mounted over here. Yes guys, it's going to be somewhat like this. And yes, before getting the brake caliper mounted, I'm thinking to remodify the bottom mount of the engine because it's not perfect. I don't like the way it turned out. It's way too long and not that strong enough. So what I'm thinking is to get a pipe installed over here and make the tab as much smaller as much I could. Yes guys, the battery box is installed and yes, I have added a support underneath there to this pipe just to make it solid. So right now it is solid. So the next step what I'm thinking to do is to get this footrest, redesign it, because I have got plenty of space at the front but I haven't got enough space at the back. So what's happening over here, like I'm keeping my foot, as I will show to you, right over here. So it's great, it's a great position, but still I need to move my leg a little bit back so that I could place the center of my left foot over here. That's what the plan is. So I have got two options with me, either to redesign only the inner part of this thing or move the complete outer pipe backwards, and that's what the thing is. So let's just see how I'm still thinking of it. So maybe I will just completely redesign, but unfortunately I'm out of this round stock, so round pipe. So I will just I have small pieces with me, so I will just cut it, move it a little bit back and weld it again. That's the only option remaining with me right now. Yes guys, it is pretty much completed. Yes, I have done in this video the battery mount and even the gas tank with a fuel gauge attachment and even the on off switch for the fuel, we can say that. Yes guys, I do admit I haven't done that much in this video, but believe me guys, the petrol tank wasn't easy to make, so it took me a lot of time to get that thing done. And the battery mount is also done. Even the brake caliper, we can say it is also perfectly, the brake cylinder and the brake pedal, we can say it's just perfectly. I dropped out from the bike and it turned out perfect, and it's looking perfect over here. So I had got the brake gear lever and even the brake pedal also. So almost most of the things. Yes guys, the body also I have got it installed. Yes, I do need to increase the height of the steering wheel, the steering a little bit, about 1 centimeter we can say. so that it could have enough space gap over here. Right now it's barely hitting it, so that's done. And right now I'm sitting on a petrol tanker because still guys, I have placed the order on AliExpress, and it ended up in asking more for the shipment of that seat to bring it over here. I don't want to pay that much for a seat. Maybe I could get a better seat much cheaper over here. So I need to find it. I have got a place where I need to go, but it's way far from here, so I have to go there and get the seat of this thing. But guys, other than that, it turned out perfect. I love the way it's turning out. Yes guys, I did readjust this because it was ended up in way too short and I cannot place my leg perfectly over here. So now it is perfect and everything is turning out perfect. I did modify the engine mounts because there was a little bit of flexibleness in the engine when I was squeezing the chain, so because of that I did got the engine mounts, redesigned them to the main pipe which is holding the rear swing arm and also holding the engine. So that's where it is connected, the engine and the swing arm. So that's what I have planned with, and pretty much almost everything is done. Yes guys, I am having about 5 to 6 inches of ground clearance. That's what I'm having right now. But I don't think so that's worst, because with this massive power I don't think so it's going to stop at any place. And yes, if I stop on a dune and everything, so it's going to be a challenging. So maybe to increase the height I have to make the shock a little bit more stiffer, so that I'm going to do once I hit a test drive on this thing. I need to test it out, I really need to test it out, but man, still there is plenty of stuff to be remaining to be done. So hopefully in the next video we can hear this thing running for the first time. Yes guys, it's coming apart. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that subscribe button below and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss out any of my future videos. Thank you guys for watching and have a great day. Yes, I love it, man. I really want to ride this thing.